Hello, Farmer Life family.
Hey.
Here we are, rainy season 2019. We just started up a few weeks ago, and we're doing well. We're like busy. It's like retreat season speed here. It's going crazy, but we're loving it. And Farmer Life family, you might remember this face. And if you don't, it's Candace.
I'm back.
So Candace was here. What you were here around the same time, actually, around the same time 3 years ago, right?
She came for a month then and 3 weeks now.
Yeah. And you had a pretty big opening 3 years ago, right? There was a lot of things that happened. Just quickly touch upon those a little bit, some of the clarities and some of the inspirations that you got in the first one. And then, of course, now here you are, the ending of your second time here. And then what's transpired?
Okay. The last time I came, I was actually here for 5 weeks.
Oh.
Which
5 weeks.
wow. Just saying 5 weeks was a huge
Commitment.
commitment, but also like a big step for me because I'm a mom. I've been raising my kids. I had been
Right.
there all the time, and it was just telling people I was going away for 5 weeks. I was nervous at first, but after I kept doing that, I noticed that after people were shocked, they were then sort of inspired and thought, I want to do that. So that was a big part of it, like committing to take the time for myself and then doing it. And I've actually heard from a number of people since then that inspired them to do something similar for themselves. So
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
And I forgot to mention this to you. There was a couple of women within that 3-year gap that came here and that saw your video. That just kind of sparked my memory now. Yeah, and a few of them came back during the same time, right? This time.
Yeah.
And that's with the 6 degrees of separation kind of a thing. We're a small business, and so here we are 3 years later. Some of the women that were here when you were here, right? They're back to share that experience with you. And then we've also had some women that are like, yeah, I saw that video with what's her name, and I was like, oh, Candace. And they felt that they could give themselves the space to do some healing and not feel guilty that they had a family and kids and to leave them for a little bit.
Yeah.
You led the charge.
That was a big shift for me. And then while I was here, I did a lot of the radical forgiveness work.
Of anyone, wow. You were really into that deep.
And the coolest thing was that I had planned on bringing the book myself, and I forgot it. I forgot to get it. And then
we've got like 100 copies.
I know, and I arrived here, and you basically handed me my copy. So I did that. I spent a lot of time in my cabin working on that, and
I use you as like my poster girl when I teach radical forgiveness to guests. I talk about this guest who came for 5 weeks, and I printed you 5 copies of the worksheet, and you worked it. And
really
so anyway, I really do speak of you, and I talk about so radical forgiveness talks about how little miracles will happen that you're not asking for, you're not pushing for. And for Candace, one of them is that your dad reached out to you by email for the first time in like a decade.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's not like we were completely estranged, but it happened with a number of people, like 2 or 3 people that I did the worksheets on while I was here. That day or the next day, I would get an email, or I think I did one on someone that was here at the same time, because I was like practicing using it, in everyday situations. And I was like, I'm a little bit annoyed with this, and so I did the worksheet.
And that first time you were here, there were some guests that were very triggering. Faux show.
Wonderfully triggering.
Yep.
And then boom, it shifted like that, and I was just kind of in shock, and it fit right in because there were little miracles happening the whole time I was here, but those where other people, it seems like other people change based on something that I did privately in my room, writing. It was really kind of blew my mind.
Where's your relationship with your father now?
We have been slowly building one, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful.
It was, like a first step in doing it. It's taken a lot. There's a lot more that's gone into it since then. But yeah, it's like a fundamental thing to be open to. That's what I love about the radical forgiveness. It really asks you, are you open to this. Like, you don't have to fix
Yeah.
it right now. You don't have to know for sure. You don't have to have it all reasoned out. Just, are you
willing?
open to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you willing?
Willing to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then stuff just happens.
It's
And
amazing.
It's so easy
Yeah.
in a way.
When you shifted, like you said, when you started to open with that first time you were here, the other guests started to receive you better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, it's like that. That's the was the beginning for me all those years back. When I changed me, my environment started to change. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. So this is maybe more here. Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Another big part of last time and this time has just been being surrounded and immersed in the nature. And that's part of why I like to take a lot of time by myself while I'm here.
Sure.
Because then I can just sort of like listen and look. I spend a lot of time looking at the trees.
Well, you know,
and the
nature's where the
vistas.
answers are, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, yeah.
it's hard to explain, but yeah, you feel it, and it's effortless.
That's kind of why we did it all the way out here, really. Because nature's where you find, if you go out and walk in the woods, nature's where you find your answers.
Yeah, I have this practice. I think it started on a beach, but I do this exercise called spring cleaning, and it's an out loud exercise that you usually do with a partner. And you're basically just like digging up all your charge, all the like things that bother you about something, and you say it out loud to the other person in this certain format. But I started doing that to the ocean, and now I do it when I'm in the jungle or like when I'm walking here, and there's something. It's like you can feel the trees or whatever like absorbing it,
Yeah.
and it is kind of magical and feels really healing.
Yeah.
And I love that, especially at Secrets, where I'm really alone.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I think so this particular time you had some shamanic experiences the first time, right? You worked with ayahuasca, and that was boom, right? I mean, that was a blast off, right? And very intense, though. I mean, that's a very intense, sometimes scary way to do a healing. This time, you decided, I'm going to bypass that, and I'm going to do some silent work down at one of our very good friends, and she's an energy worker. It's about 5 minutes down the road, and it's an option for anybody that wants to come. You can do a little silent retreat down there, and her place is totally beautiful solitude, beautiful 100-acre plus farm, flats, waterfalls all around, right? I mean, absolutely fantastic. And so you got some wonderful insights during these moments. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So this time, my retreat at Secrets was actually 3 days, 3 nights.
That's
that
a
was
long
lot.
time to be quiet in solitude.
But I will say it wasn't completely silent this time, because she did a couple of sessions with me,
Okay.
and we did some meditation in the morning. And I used it more for the solitude rather than like 3 complete days of silence. But
Okay.
that doesn't even
Matter really.
Yeah, it's just a different flavor.
The solitude's going to bring the answers, you know.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time. She has a little cabin. It's like a little cabin in the woods, but it's a cabin in the jungle, and it's got it's all screened in. So it's very open. You feel completely connected to nature even when you're in your shelter. And then a few steps out through the yard is the little path to her secret river or creek bed.
It's this incredible little
hidden.
Shower thing that you can,
But it's like there's a whole creek that comes down, and it's
beautiful.
50 different little vignettes of perfection and
Totally.
different plants and rocks, and every time I go down there, I cry. Like, I don't know what happens. It's like a safe space for everything that I've sort of been keeping a little bit locked up.
Yeah.
To just flow out, and I'll definitely be coming back because it feels like home. Even the first time I went 3 years ago when I got down there,
Yeah.
it felt like coming home.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So, and Secret herself is incredible. I feel like she's this precious light, just sort of, hiding here in the jungle and offering so much. She's really gifted with understanding the body, physically as well as energetically. She gave me an adjustment. She just asked me to get into a really simple heart-opening pose, and then she made one little adjustment, and I felt my whole body felt different. Like the energy was flowing. And this time I also did a hi.
We've got little butterflies.
That was a hummingbird.
Hummingbirds hanging out with us.
She did a vocal opening session with me this time, and I was so
singing,
scared. Yeah. She kind of gave me the list of things that she offered, and I saw the vocal opening, and I was like, oh.
Did she play the satari with you? Yeah, that's fun. That's a lot of fun.
It wasn't fun. It was scary.
Oh, no?
But at first it was scary, and then it did actually become fun.
Good.
So
opened up the old throat chakra.
Yeah, which I have been for years. I've had all this other energy starting to move, but I felt like I still didn't really have my voice in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Literally and also metaphorically. So that was incredible.
Great.
And I ended up singing to myself in the jungle and really like finding my voice.
Beautiful.
I felt like Snow White or something. Like all the birds are like.
You do down there, right? I mean, in a few minutes we're going to go to a waterfall that's really on their property. On the one side of it, it's called Peace Falls, and we go there every week, and we do a lot of shamanic work there too, and it is just an absolutely magical place, right? I mean, it's. And where you did the solitude is right next to there, and all around the farm is just this unbelievable.
It is. It's unbelievable.
It really is. It's like a little fairyland.
If you've never been here, it takes me a while every time I come to like wrap my mind around that this exists.
Yep. Yep. So for those of you seeing this, and it's something that you're interested in, we can set that up. So you can find a lot of answers in solitude, and you can also do silent there too as well. So, and Secret's an amazing energy healer. She comes up here and does energy work and does all kinds of things. And wow, right? Can't say enough about her.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Special. I love her.
Yeah, we love her for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing I did this time while I was there was I borrowed the Radical Self-Forgiveness book. And so I've been working on that. I did some reading and writing while I was there. And that's sort of taking the whole forgiveness thing to the next level.
Because now it's like, okay, now I got to forgive myself for all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, it's one extra step up.
Yeah. It's good though. I'm still in the middle of it, so I can't really, no miracles have happened yet that I've noticed, but I think they will.
Oh, of course. So you leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
Second time here. What would be like maybe a main theme that you're going to take with you from here, from this trip? Inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, really the finding my voice part is huge. I want to stay with that and keep that flowing and my new alignment in my body.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep paying attention to that and strengthening it. So there's that, and I'm also I'm gonna bring my daughters next year.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. So I'm taking that excitement to share it. I feel like I've done so much work for myself now. Yeah. That I have the energy and the capacity to pass it on and bring my girls here and.
You think they'll like it?
That feels exciting. Like I'm finally replenished enough. Yeah, I do. They love the outdoors.
How old are they?
19 and 16.
Oh, okay. So they're old enough for sure. What are their names?
Lydia and Margaret.
Lydia and Margaret. We'll be seeing you here next year.
Hey, ladies.
Looking forward to it. I think I saw actually on Facebook the 16-year-old. She got her driver's license.
Oh,
I actually saw that. And you were like, thank God I don't have to drive you anymore.
That's right. Exciting for me.
Mama can spend a little less time driving her to all these practices and things.
Yeah, it's a whole new world after 20 years of...
Sure. It's a lot of work.
I realized, wait, I've been a chauffeur for 20 years, and I'm liberated now.
You're getting a little more freedom.
Yeah.
Daughters are becoming women, right? That's kind of nice, yeah.
It
And you get to see how amazing of a mom you were, right? As they get older, and now we get to see them
there's
next year.
some self-forgiveness right in there too.
Yeah.
As a mom, there's always plenty to like be gentle with yourself about.
Absolutely.
You're always gonna mess it up.
On the job train. I remember my brother telling me, we don't have children, but my brother was like, you do the best you can. And you're not perfect. You do the best you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, there's a couple of other situations that I would really like invite people to consider taking this kind of time if they find themselves in having to make a big decision in life. There's only so much you can do in your mind, you know, pros and cons and lists and the practical, the usual tools that we use to make decisions.
Yeah.
But coming here and spending all this time, like all the things, being out in nature, meeting all these cool people, taking time to yourself.
He just likes you.
You got a friend.
She has a fly right on her face.
These are stingless bees, actually. They're stingless bees and actually produce really medicinal honey, but they love us. They love sometimes it's just kind of like,
They're so soft and sweet.
Yep.
But yeah, just the clarity that comes. Like the last time we were talking about, after the last time I left, I felt so clear in my body that when I got home, I realized there was huge decision before me, and I just made it. It was just so easy. It was almost like I didn't have a choice.
Is that clarity you were saying?
Yes, because I just knew in my body, like every cell in my body was ding, like this is what you need to do. And I had been wrestling with it for years, you know, and I couldn't come to a clear understanding or decision. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, and then, you know, also just if you have stress in your life, especially like a large amount of stress and a new kind of stress, it's beyond, it's different than going to a spa. You know, coming here is like, it's not... You're pushed into yourself. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, it's one of the reasons why we did it so far out here. You know, sometimes people are like, geez, the bumpy road, and you could have done it a little. I'm like, no, I really wanted it immersed in nature, so that yes, we have these nice activities, and we do have massage, and we have things, but at some point here, you'll get pushed into yourself, into reflecting, you know, into that clarity.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a really good balance of soothing, calming, relaxing, and nudging you.
Yeah, you're getting a little push.
Yeah.
You get these little pushes. And I'm so grateful that you came a second time and that you love it and you got more inspirations, more clarity this time. And you're going to bring your daughters back.
Yeah.
Super pumped for that. I love when kids come here. You know, as a matter of fact, you got to see a little bit of it with just a family that just left, so it probably inspired you, right? We had a family, and they were wonderful. They were from New York. They came here with two little ones, a 4 and a 6, I believe.
Yeah.
And little ones, a little challenging at the farm of life, right? I mean, we don't have McDonald's. They have the playground and stuff like that. We don't have any of that. And the kids, they liked it. They enjoyed the pool, and they, you know, so I'm sure that
tours
they really actually enjoyed it. So I'm sure your children will.
Yeah, I mean, mine are basically adults.
They're adults now.
They will love it too. They would have loved it when they were little too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm really so grateful that you guys are
still at it.
We're still at
it. It just kind of keeps growing and just amazing.
Yeah. This kind of thing did so much for us, and I'm so glad that we can share it with others, and that you feel it like we do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for coming, and you're a member of the family, right? I mean, you're going to be back again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Big love, Candace.
Bye-bye, Farmer Life family.